Hello, I'm Casey Loftman, Editor-in-Chief of Food Engineering Magazine. Joining me is PMMI's Jorge Izquierdo. Jorge, welcome.
Hi Casey, how are you doing?
Good. I'd like to talk a little bit about changing demands from consumers and the rising role of e-commerce. These are things that are affecting food processors and other CPG companies in a really big way. So how are these companies looking at things like secondary and tertiary packaging to help them meet this pace of change from consumer demands as well as satisfy their e-commerce requirements?
Sure. I mean, number one, the challenge with e-commerce, of course, is the distribution chain that it's followed to get the product to the consumer. Traditional retail, we were used, for maybe 5, 6, 7 different touches, by the time the product gets to the shelf. These days, with e-commerce, we're talking more about 15, 17. So the risk for the product to be damaged is significantly higher. So what we're finding is about 2 out of 5 manufacturers of consumer products are redesigning their primary packaging in terms to make sure that it arrives, properly in good shape to the consumers. Now, even more interesting is 3 out of 4 of them are redesigning secondary packaging. It's and it's to be expected. A secondary packaging function in terms of protecting the product is more important. But significantly, amount of brand owners are investing resources on developing new formats, new designs, and how to adapt their current products to the e-commerce channel.
Right, and as you mentioned, obviously there's the concerns about breakage or the product otherwise being damaged, but there are also logistical concerns. I'm thinking about, Amazon. People talk about, well, I ordered this little thing from Amazon and it came in this big box. Well, they use those standardized boxes because they don't want to have a million different boxes, because that just cranks up the degree of difficulty for trying to get those products packaged and out the door. So how is that affecting things as well, where people are maybe selling more directly, but now they're having to think about, okay, what box sizes do we want to use? What material do we want to use? What kind of labeling or customization do we want to have on the outside? There's a whole bunch of variables that have to be taken into consideration there.
Yeah, you're right, Casey. I mean, traditionally, you were thinking, you normally think on a case, when you ship a case to the retailer, and that's how you send your product, how you ship your products. On e-commerce, you think on units, and that makes it very different. And in many cases, it's not a unit by itself; it's a box of mixed products, and then that makes it really hard for fulfillment centers. What's the right size of a box? A box is too big. The combination of products within a box. What suppliers of technology are doing these days are giving many different options in terms of offering the right size of the box depending on the different products you're putting inside and how much of the box is being used. Like if you're using only 60% of the box, of the volume of the box, instead of using void filling material for the other 40%. What they are doing, they are able to resize the box and making it of a different size immediately on site once you have already put the products in there. So instead of using 40% of void filling material, maybe you're using just 5% of void filling material. So number one, that's of course saving costs, saving on shipments because of the measures of the box, the cost of shipping. And finally, making a more sustainable solution, less packaging, and at the end, delivering a product safely to the consumer.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another area of this that I know is sometimes a challenge, is if you have, kind of an oddly shaped product or a product that's relatively small, but you have a standardized size of box, are you going to use all of that extra filling material? So it sounds like there are some innovative solutions out there for people to be able to still use that standardized box size, but not have to waste quite so much packing material.
Yes, absolutely right. And it's not just on the size of the box itself, it's already on the design of the packaging. More and more brand owners are looking at the containers they use and understand that those containers will go maybe on a 4-pack with a specific size box. So the size of those containers fit that box better than they used to be, because now they have the standard box sizes in mind when they design the product. So that's also happening in the industry.
Okay, great. A lot of interesting stuff there, and we didn't even touch on glass versus plastic or anything like that. So, Jorge, thank you very much. I appreciate your insights on where the packaging industry is right now and where you expect it to go.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you at Pack Expo Las Vegas.